22 years ago, Norway's royal palace buzzed with shock and controversy. Crown Prince Haakon announced he was marrying a woman whose past had secrets that left everyone questioning the prince's choice. Why her? What risk was he willing to take? The royal family reacted with disbelief and anger. Their journey was filled with defiance and uncertainty as they faced the scrutiny of a shocked nation. Who was this woman, and what had happened to their union after so many years? Join us in this interesting video as we answer all your questions. How they met. It is often said that true love can be found in the most unusual places. Well, what do you think about that? Some royals consider any romantic relationship with a commoner unacceptable, since they believe these people occasionally have hidden agendas with devastating consequences. Where did the charming Prince of Norway, who many young girls longed for, meet the mystery lady? And why did he feel the way he felt with her, even when he had many other options? According to the report, Crown Prince Haakon met Mette-Marit Tjessem Høiby in 1999 at a musical festival through a mutual friend. Haakon loved music and enjoyed listening to it. He claimed that it gave him a new perspective on the world and the things in it. Studies have demonstrated that listening to music can evoke many emotions. Remarkably, music can enhance mood, mental clarity, memory, and sleep quality while lowering blood pressure, anxiety, and pain. The prince's parents came up with the idea of using good music as a way to soothe him because it was said that he had mood swings and anger management problems when he was younger. Despite being royalty, Haakon enjoyed interacting with common people and had always desired a taste of everyday life, where he could make his own bed, take care of household duties, go for a stroll down the street, engage in conversations with regular people, and even eat with regular people. Haakon was accompanied by a childhood friend who coincidentally knew Mette-Marit. The two were so surprised to see each other that they discussed their personal experiences at length. Haakon stood quietly and admired Mette, who looked cheerful and fun to be with. Then, Haakon's childhood friend introduced him to Mette, who was shocked to learn that the crown prince would participate in a music festival alongside regular people. According to an anonymous source, the music festival was called the Court Festival in Kristiansand, a popular event known for its laid-back atmosphere and vibrant music scene. Fortunately, the informal setting allowed them to interact without the usual pressures of royal expectations or formalities, allowing their connection to develop naturally. What captivated the prince each time he looked at Mette? In an interview, he revealed that Mette-Marit's warm, genuine, and down-to-earth nature immediately caught his attention, making him want to continue their conversation. He said she stood out with her free spirit, confident presence, and ability to connect with others effortlessly. It was indeed adorable to see a beautiful lady with amazing qualities. She was honest and genuine, which Haakon found admirable and uncommon in his world. Mette-Marit had a natural charm and a sense of individuality that made her unforgettable. Her ability to engage meaningfully in conversations and her sincere outlook on life resonated deeply with Haakon. Their meeting at the festival became the starting point of a relationship built on mutual respect and understanding. After the festival, Haakon and Mette exchanged contacts, promising to see each other again and interact more and better. Haakon was drawn to her unique blend of strength and vulnerability, which made her not approachable and deeply inspiring. Over time, their bond grew stronger, proving that their connection went beyond a fleeting attraction to something far more meaningful and enduring. The two were later seen together in public gatherings, garnering both admiration and scrutiny from the members of the royal home and the public. There were even rumors that Queen Sonja, the mother of Prince Haakon, had actively found a suitable partner for her son by arranging a blind date with a princess from a neighboring kingdom. In addition to bolstering diplomatic and royal ties between the kingdoms, this purported endeavor was viewed as a calculated attempt to protect and defend the beloved traditional values connected to monarchy. While the details of the rumored meeting remain unconfirmed, it fueled widespread speculation. It added a touch of intrigue to Prince Haakon's personal life, drawing significant public and media attention at the time. However, Prince Haakon turned down the offer, explaining that he had already found love and was planning to introduce this woman to the family in due time, moving further to say that it was not in her position to get him a future wife as the world is changing. Children now have the right to make their own decisions. Subsequently, when his mother later got news of Prince Haakon's romantic involvement with some strange lady, she organized a private investigator to look into the issue and dig deep into her background. Before we unveil more about their relationship, let us carefully look at the early lives of Mette and Haakon. A glimpse into their backgrounds. Despite the major constitutional change in 1990, which nearly eliminated Prince Haakon's chances of succeeding as king, history records that he maintained his position as the heir apparent to the Norwegian crown. This amendment introduced absolute primogeniture, ensuring that the eldest child, regardless of gender, would inherit the throne. What is primogeniture? Wikipedia defines this as the right, by law or custom, of the legitimate firstborn child to inherit the parent's entire or main estate, in preference to shared inheritance among all or some children. However, unlike Sweden, which applied similar reforms automatically in 1980, Norway's new rule did not affect Haakon's standing. His older sister, Princess Martha Louise, born in 1971, continued to stand behind him in the line of succession despite being the firstborn. When Haakon was 17, his life took a monumental turn. Sadly, on the 17th of January, 1991, his grandfather, King Olav V, passed away. With this loss, Haakon's father ascended the throne as King Harald V, and Haakon officially became the crown prince, stepping closer to his destiny as Norway's future monarch. Interestingly, Haakon Magnus was christened on the 20th of September, 1973, in the Royal Palace Chapel, following the traditions of the Church of Norway. His name carried deep family and cultural significance. He was named after his great-grandfather, King Haakon VII, a figure of Norwegian pride, and his uncle, Haakon Haraldsson. The name Magnus paid tribute to a revered saint and martyr in Norwegian history, adding a spiritual dimension to his identity. Born on the 20th of July, 1973, Haakon came into the world at the National Hospital in St. Hanshaugen, Oslo. As the youngest child and only son of Crown Prince Harald and Crown Princess Sonja, he grew up in a family rooted in royal tradition. As the fourth generation of the current Norwegian royal family of the House of Glucksburg, Haakon was positioned uniquely from the start by his royal ancestry, destined to continue the legacy of his ancestors. On the other hand, Mette-Marit was born in the southern Norwegian town of Kristiansand into the family of Mr. and Mrs. Høiby. According to the report, her father, Sven O. Høiby, had experienced periods of unemployment. However, before that, he worked as a small-scale advertiser and journalist in their hometown. Her mother, Marit Tjessem, had worked as a bank clerk and shouldered the responsibility of caring and providing for the family, as her husband was financially unstable at the time of Mette's birth. Growing up, Mette-Marit had a sister and two older brothers, one of whom was named Per Høiby. In the mid-1990s, her mother remarried a man named Rolf Berntsen, and through this marriage, Mette-Marit gained a stepbrother, Trond Berntsen. Tragically, Trond's life was cut short in the 2011 Norway attacks, a painful chapter in the family's history. Mette-Marit spent much of her childhood in Kristiansand, but her family often visited the peaceful Setesdal Valley and the nearby coast. It might interest you that Mette-Marit later discovered her passion for sailing at Setesdal Valley, a skill she carried throughout her life. She also developed a deep sense of community and involvement, becoming active in the local Sletheia youth club, where she learned society's culture, values, and norms. In this setting, Mette-Marit did not just participate, but also took on the responsibility of an activity leader, helping organize events and programs for younger members. During her teenage years, she furthered her sports interests by playing volleyball, eventually qualifying as both a referee and a coach, which deepened her leadership skills and teamwork. Mette-Marit's educational journey began at Otternes Upper Secondary School in Kristiansand. After spending some time there, she moved to Australia for 6 months, studying at Wangaratta High School in Northeast Victoria as part of an exchange program with Youth for Understanding. This experience broadened her horizons and gave her a new perspective on the world. After her return to Norway, Mette-Marit attended Kristiansand Cathedral School, where she graduated in 1994, completing her studies with dedication and success. Soon after graduation, Mette-Marit moved to London, where she spent several months working for the Norwegian-British Chamber of Commerce at Norway House on Cockspur Street. Impressively, Mette-Marit was immersed in the business world and acquired significant professional experience there. When her assignment in London concluded, she returned to Norway, marking the end of this chapter and the beginning of another. This was when she met the Crown Prince. Queen Sonja's private investigator later discovered something unbelievable about Mette-Marit's past, threatening the success of Prince Haakon and Mette-Marit's early relationship. What was this? And how were they able to scale through this trying period? Keep watching to find out. Her dark past. It was discovered that Mette-Marit came from a broken home. Her parents were divorced, and her father was also a convicted felon who had twice been convicted of violence. Despite Mette's efforts to conceal information that could have resulted in her parents' deaths, the private investigator found a method to gather valuable information for the Queen, who generously rewarded him. The private investigator leaned forward, his eyes shadowed with the weight of what he was about to reveal, as there was more to this mystery woman than what he had previously disclosed. Her story begins with promise, he said, his voice steady but heavy with implication. She was a young woman brimming with leadership potential, someone who could have achieved remarkable success. But as is often the case with stories like these, the cracks began to show. At some point, she entered a rebellious phase, a chapter of her life that defined much of her youth. It was no ordinary rebellion either. She admitted that it was far more intense than most people's experiences. During this time, she led a wild lifestyle that pulled her further and further from the bright future that had once seemed so certain. Her student years were consumed by rave parties, where the air was thick with the smell of alcohol and the unmistakable signs of illegal substances. She became a familiar face in that chaotic world, going to parties and the likes of others. Consequently, her academic and professional accomplishments during this period were, at best, unimpressive, and she seemed unbothered. She worked briefly for the Norwegian-British Chamber of Commerce in London and spent time as a waitress at Café Angebray in Oslo. Though she attended preparatory courses at Agder College, her focus and ambition seemed elsewhere. The investigator's tone darkened as he continued. It was during this tumultuous time that she crossed paths with Morten Borg, a man whose record spoke for itself, convicted of domestic violence, driving under the influence and possession of illegal substances. He was a dangerous influence, and yet she stayed with him, blinded perhaps by a kind of love that defied logic. By the age of 23, she had given birth to her first son, Marius. Morten, as expected, was not prepared for fatherhood. He left her to shoulder the responsibilities of raising a child alone. However, despite these new difficulties, she could not completely abandon the life she had become accustomed to. She continued to chase moments of escape, clinging to the vibrant, chaotic energy of the party scene. To find happiness and satisfaction, she decided to attend a musical festival in her hometown, and that was when she met Prince Haakon. Queen Sonja, on hearing this, was unhappy. Although she felt sorry for Mette-Marit, who had to go through the emotional trauma of having an ex-convict as a father and shouldering the responsibility of parenthood alone while working as a waitress, she did not support the idea of her son, a crown prince, having a relationship with her because it would not only tarnish the royal's respected image, but would also have a psychological impact on her son. She did everything she could to prevent her son from seeing Mette-Marit, even going so far as to humiliate her publicly. Still, despite all odds, Haakon remained steadfast in supporting his lover. In an attempt to follow his heart, Haakon nearly made a decision that would have ended his chances of ever becoming king. What happened, and how was the issue later resolved? Remain glued to your screens to find out. Love versus royalty and engagement. Mette-Marit, on noticing how overheated the environment was concerning her relationship with the prince, almost lost hope of her chances to give her child a father that he had always wanted to see and have. Rumor had it that her child had been teased by his classmates since he was a young boy because he did not have a father. He would cry and come home to ask why his classmates made fun of him so much. This caused emotional trauma to Mette-Marit, who wished she could help her poor son and was pleased when the prince showed interest in her. However, things later became unstable during the journey. Amid the turmoil of emotions and the determination to prove his commitment, Prince Haakon moved into an apartment in Oslo with Mette-Marit. This bold step was not made lightly. It was driven by his deep realization that she was the love of his life. Her past was not enough to deter his feelings, no matter how controversial. Interestingly, in an interview, Prince Haakon told the media that he was prepared to embrace her completely, even taking on the responsibility of raising her young son Marius. How remarkable! Notably, Haakon's love for Mette-Marit was unwavering. It was more like a romantic fairy tale, where the prince would do anything and everything to prove his love and commitment to the woman of his dreams, irrespective of some ugly circumstances. Fortunately, in a heartfelt moment, the prince went on one knee and proposed to her with a beautiful diamond ring, solidifying his intention to make her his wife. For Mette-Marit, this was one of the happiest moments of her life, but to some people who heard the news, it was the opposite. However, announcing their engagement weighed heavily on the prince. He understood the challenges ahead, knowing that his decision to marry a woman with a troubled past who was not of noble blood would inevitably ignite public scandal. And his fears soon became reality. When word spread that the prince had been living with Mette-Marit before marriage, the public reaction was swift and critical. Many argued that, as a royal, Haakon had a duty to uphold societal norms and set an example for others. In an unexpected twist, the backlash intensified as tabloids unearthed details of Mette-Marit's past, publishing scandalous stories that cast her in a negative light. It was even said that one of the royal family members was involved and played a pivotal role in leading the media influencers to publish more image-tarnishing content about Mette-Marit. Despite the mounting criticism, King Harald, Haakon's father, stood firmly by his son's side. Perhaps Harald's unwavering support stemmed from his struggles convincing his father, King Olav, to approve his marriage to Sonja Haraldsson, a commoner who eventually became queen. Drawing from his own experiences, Harald understood the depth of Haakon's love and the sacrifices he was willing to make. The media saw a sharp rise in negative reviews after the public learned that their crown prince had left the royal residence to live in a rented apartment with his lover and their child. Mette-Marit was humiliated and insulted. Under relentless public scrutiny, Haakon remained resolute. At one point, he even considered relinquishing his royal title to be with Mette-Marit. In a courageous and heartfelt declaration, he announced that he would marry her regardless of the consequences, even if it meant giving up the throne. Surprisingly, his sincerity moved the public, gradually softening their opinions. "This is true love," someone said online, causing the members of the public to rethink the issue and understand love from the prince's viewpoint. Mette-Marit also took steps to win public acceptance. She appeared at a press conference, candidly addressing her past and expressing genuine regret for her mistakes. Her honesty struck a chord with many, and public sentiment shifted. In the end, people saw the couple's love as genuine, and their story became a testament to resilience, redemption, and the power of true love. What happened afterward? Was she accepted? And how have their lives been 22 years after? Marriage and royal duties. The public began to support their union, and after much discussion and disagreement, the royal family finally agreed to their union because their son Haakon had already engaged his lover. Haakon and Mette-Marit officially exchanged nuptial vows on the 25th of August, 2001 in Oslo. The ceremony, which unfolded for an hour, was deeply emotional, with the bride moving to tears throughout. Well, it was not tears of sorrow, but tears of joy, because she never thought she would ever find true love. Mette-Marit wore an elegant gown crafted from white silk crepe, with a veil that trailed an impressive 20 feet behind her. On the other hand, Prince Haakon wore a formal black military uniform, distinguished from other uniforms by a striking red sash and adorned with several medals. Since Mette-Marit would have rather walked down the aisle with him than be escorted by her father, Haakon deviated from custom and waited outside the church. During the ceremony, Oslo's bishop, Gunnar Stalset, one of the most respected men in Christianity, addressed the couple, saying, "You have not chosen the easiest path, but love has triumphed." Those words reminded Mette-Marit of her past and brought tears to her eyes as she looked at Prince Haakon. It was a moment that reflected both the challenges and triumphs of their love story. Adding to the personal significance of the day, Mette-Marit's son, Marius, took on the role of page boy, symbolizing the blending of two families. How wonderful! Haakon's best man was the Crown Prince of Denmark, Frederik X, a close friend and confidant who supported his relationship with Mette-Marit from the early stage of their union. The bridesmaids were all chosen from Mette-Marit's inner circle. They included Bettina and Emily Swanstrom, Camilla and Anniken Bjornøy, and Tuva Høiby. Remarkably, Princess Martha Louise of Norway and Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden gave special readings and performed music by well-known Norwegian jazz musician Jan Garbarek during this wedding ceremony, giving it a more intimate and regal feel. Then, the newlyweds, accompanied by Mette-Marit's son, appeared on the royal palace balcony. Once a single mother, a party enthusiast, and a waitress, Mette-Marit of Norway has undergone an extraordinary transformation, evolving into the epitome of grace, responsibility, and royal dignity. Her journey from a woman with a past filled with parties and hardships to one of the most respected figures in Norway is a remarkable tale of personal growth, love, and redemption. Their marriage was met with public skepticism, largely due to her unconventional past. She had been linked to several felons, and her association with a scandalous history, including her past as a partygoer, was scrutinized. However, Mette-Marit never let her past define her future. She bore 2 children named Ingrid Alexandra and Sverre Magnus for her husband, stepped away from her party lifestyle, and pursued education with the same dedication she had for her new family. Mette-Marit achieved a major milestone in 2012 by earning a master's degree in executive management. This accomplishment wasn't just for her personal growth, but also reflected her determination to excel in her royal duties. As Crown Princess, Mette-Marit threw herself into public life, taking on a prominent role in Norwegian society. She frequently attends royal events with Crown Prince Haakon and uses her position to support vital causes, including mental health, social inclusion, and HIV/AIDS awareness. Mette-Marit and Crown Prince Haakon have built a life filled with love and mutual respect for over 2 decades. Their marriage has remained strong despite the initial doubts that surrounded their union. Their children, now 17 and 18 years old, have grown up with the eyes of the public on them, but their privacy has been largely respected. Mette-Marit's eldest son, Marius, has chosen a different path, preferring to stay out of the limelight and moving to America. Though he has no royal title, Marius's presence in their family's life remains important, even if he rarely appears publicly. Unfortunately, on the 4th of August, 2017, it was announced that Marius Borg Høiby, son of Crown Princess Mette-Marit, had been arrested on suspicion of mistreating his girlfriend. According to the report, the tall, strapping blonde with a bad boy look, often photographed in tuxedos, slicked back hair, earrings, and tattoos, was arrested in Oslo, suspected of mistreating his girlfriend the previous night. A photograph of a knife stuck in the wall of her apartment soon emerged in the media, alongside news reports that Høiby handed over a partially destroyed cell phone with no SIM card to police. Marius admitted the mistreatment and damage a few days later, saying in a written statement to the media they were the result of a substance-fueled argument. He said he had struggled for a long time with substance use and mental health troubles. Høiby, who has friends in criminal circles according to the media, was raised with his 2 step-siblings, but has no official role in the royal family. His legal troubles have only continued to mount since August. Notably, 2 of his ex-girlfriends came forward to say he also mistreated them. By December, the police suspicions against him had swelled to include death threats, violation of a restraining order, and 2 other punishable offenses. When the first mistreatment allegation emerged in November, Høiby spent a week in police custody, unprecedented for a member of the Norwegian royal family. "It's snowballing and it doesn't seem to be able to stop," said Sigrid Vidsten, a columnist at the Daily Dagbladet. "It's the biggest scandal ever in the Norwegian royal family." However, the police have yet to press any charges against Marius, who has so far only admitted the mistreatment and damage during the nights of August 3rd to 4th, as well as death threats against an unidentified man. Social media bloggers subsequently claimed that even though Princess Mette-Marit did everything in her power to keep her son from going down the same path as his biological father, his father's blood was bound to get him involved with the police. What do you think about this? Do you believe that if Marius had been given a royal responsibility, things would not have turned out as they did for him? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Before you go, click the links on your screen to explore more of our videos.